Welcome to the Vivo Miles setup training video. This video has been put together to ensure that you have a successful launch of Vivo Miles to your school. It will cover the 9-step setup checklist. These 9 steps will need to be completed in full before you launch Vivo to your school. I will show you a few new features we have on the site. On the right hand side here we have all our new social media links. So you can click on the Facebook link. And the Facebook link will take you through to our official fan page, of course, so you can become a fan of Vivo there. Lots of students like to use this in terms of boasting to each other about their balances and chatting to each other about Vivo and the prizes that they like, and we sometimes run competitions on there and have riddles and sort of get the students involved and have a bit of fun as well. So that's the link there for that. We have the Twitter link as well, of course, so you can go to our Twitter page and follow us on there, and we keep you up to date on lots of various things to do with Vivo and other things on there as well. And the most important one is our new Vivo Insights blog. This blog has been put together to give you as much information as possible in terms of news, resources for your school. So in this section we'll be adding lots and lots of different things in terms of setup and training, downloadable documents, managing your Vivo budget, lots of tips and tricks and things like that. So you'll be able to come in here and gather information as you need to. You'll be able to find all copies of different various training guides in terms of the shop and setup and all sorts of things in there. Guides on how to effectively launch Vivo, how to relaunch, all sorts of things in there. So please do make use of this this blog as much as you can. Copies of our case studies and research and insights information and things like that is in there as well. And you can also link directly back to the site, or you want to contribute something, and also to our forum as well, so you can go through to that there. So please do make use of those social media links as much as possible on the right hand side of your home page. The first step of the training video I'm going to take you through is the budget section. So the budget is quite important in terms of making sure that you have all of your Vivos separated out according to the time period that you have to spend them in. So you purchase a particular amount of Vivos. Perhaps you may purchase an amount of Vivos for a term or a full school year, just depending on how you want to work your budget. So to go into get this set up ready to go, it will be the first step that you'll need to do. So it is vital that this is completed first. So if you go to setup, and then we'll go down to budget. So on the first initial training session over the phone with your dedicated account manager, you would have organised previously to have your Vivos added to your account. So once topped up, you'll see the total Vivos there. Current position will just give you a bit of information in terms of the amount of Vivos you've purchased, how many you've awarded, how many are reserved in terms of credit coupons, which I'll explain a bit later, and the average you award per week. Reimbursements, you'll see the amount here for the school shop dispatch. So as a school you have the option to add items to the school shop for students to purchase, switching on charities. So those are all tallied up there as students are donating to charity and buying items in your school shop. They will tally up there, and once per term we'll reimburse you via backs payments to your bank account, which we will send you a form to fill out in regards to your bank details, so we can do this for you. So this is once per term. Each term, once the amount owing is paid back to you, this will reset back to 0. The amount paid to you will tally up into the total reimbursed to date area. This will reset back to 0, so you can then see for the next term, starting fresh again, how much is owed to you. You have the option to be reimbursed in pounds, so where we pay you by backs once per term, or you can also be reimbursed in Vivos as well. So if you select this option, the page will refresh, and our finance department will know to reimburse you with Vivos. So any amounts owing will be topped up as Vivos back into your account, so you can reward those once again to students. Transaction history shows history of your purchases of Vivos, so you'll see your invoice numbers and details there. Charity donations just broken down by the different charity organisations you may have set up, so you can just see for the current academic year how many Vivos are donated to that particular charity. At the bottom, some notes there. So just in regards to the reserved amount of Vivos at the top, for the credit coupons, it includes any coupon credits that are being printed but not yet redeemed by students. Contact your account manager at the end of term if you require your reimbursement for school shop purchases and donations. This will happen automatically anyway, and as long as it's a minimum of £10, this will happen no problem. And charity donations will reimburse you with the payment at the end of the term for any charity donations made, and then it's the school's responsibility then to make the payment to the charity organisation at your leisure. So up the top now we'll go to budget. So the budget tab is where you'll set up your budget period and the amount of Vivos that you have to spend for the time period chosen. So I'm going to give you two scenarios. The first scenario is if you purchase an amount of Vivos for a full school year and you intend on spending those in the full school year. And the second scenario will be if you purchase, say, 1 million Vivos or £10,000 worth of Vivos, and that's your budget for the full school year, but you only want to use a certain amount per term. I'll show you how to set that up as well. So in the first scenario, a full school year, so we want to start on, say, Monday the 2nd of September, for example. So the budget start date must always be a Monday, and the end date always a Sunday, just to ensure we encompass full weeks going through the budget period. So we'll set the end date to the end of the school year for next year, for example. And then, so if you're wanting to spend all of your budgets or the amount of Vivos that you purchase, so in this case, Vivo Academy has purchased 1 million Vivos or £10,000 worth. We're going to break that down into amounts for staff and amounts for the auto attendance rewards budget, and I'll show you how to set up and how it works, the auto attendance feature, at the very end of the training session. I want to spend 20% of my budget, for example, on attendance. So I'm going to add 800,000 Vivos here and 200,000 into the auto attendance. We have a tool which I'll show you in a moment, a budget wizard spreadsheet, which shows you how to work these out and how much you can afford to give to staff per week to spend based on your budget, and how much you can afford to give to students per week for achieving 100% attendance and or punctuality. So we've set those up now, so we want 800,000 to be available for staff. Of course, staff will then be broken down into their weekly permission levels and budgets that you will give them to spend. But think of this as like a big bank account that everyone has access to, and you need to release it for use. So no one will be able to reward until this is all set up and you click update here. And then 200,000 we're going to put towards the auto attendance. So between these dates that you've set, as you're rewarding, the amount will actually tally up here, and hopefully by the end of that time period you won't have any Vivos left and it will do the whole school year. Of course, you can top up your account at any time you need to. And then it's important to keep the system on allow staff to reward even if budget is exceeded, but this won't be applicable if you're setting a budget in terms of for a full school year and you're setting out the complete amount that you have purchased to spend. So once complete, just click update and that will refresh the system and everything will be ready to go then, and you'll be able to monitor the use of these particular budgets as you go through. You'll be able to see the actual awarded as you go along and the percentage amount. You'll then have an analysis at the bottom of the page, so the system will tell you how far as a percentage you are into your budget period, how much of your budget you have used so far in that period, and also the average you're rewarding per week. So that will tell you roughly what you're averaging per week, and based on that amount it'll give you an idea of whether you'll have a surplus or a deficit at the end of your budget period, so at the end of July next year. The second scenario I'm going to give you is if you only want to use part of your budget for a particular time period. So say for the first term, so until Christmas, we want to spend only £5,000 worth. So from September until Christmas we want to have a really good term, so we're going to spend quite a big chunk of our budget to start off with. So I'm going to put 400,000 into the available for staff area and 100,000, so 10% of my budget I'd like to spend on the auto attendance for the first term, just to see how we go. And then you click update again, and then that will update just to half of the budget, and we've set the time period till the end of December. So you can monitor then between this time period once again how much of the 400,000 and how much of the 100,000 has been spent here. And that will then leave you with a spare 500,000 Vivos obviously going forward into your next 2 terms, and you'll need to update the date periods once again in the beginning of 2014 when school starts after the Christmas break. And in this case you'll be able to select allow staff to reward even if budget is exceeded. So once this 400,000 is rewarded, say staff are rewarding quite a lot and really getting into Vivo, which is great, and just before Christmas you've exhausted the budget, so the full 400,000 has been rewarded, you'll be able to allow them to reward even if the budget is exceeded. Or alternatively, if the auto award budget has only rewarded 50,000 Vivos in the first term, for example, you could take the other spare 50,000 and pop that up here just to bring that percentage down underneath 100% as you need to. You've got some little tips here, so you can hover over the question marks if you have any questions there. It'll give you a little bit of advice. Alternatively, your account manager will be more than happy to go through this with you over the phone if you're unsure of the explanation given here. So the tool is a great way to help you spread out your Vivo budget. It's been put together really well, and it just requires you to enter in the applicable information to your school, and it will calculate most of the things for you. It will not put that data back into Vivo, unfortunately, but it will give you an idea of what you need to set up in terms of roles and budgets and attendance and things like that. So click on the Download Budget Wizard spreadsheet. We'll open that up. So when the sheet opens up, it explains at the top, please use our wizard below to help you allocate your Vivo budget effectively. I'll explain these as we go down, of course, but anything in red is altered by you. Green must equal green, orange must equal orange, and blue indicates your error difference. So we're going to work out, for example, we'll base it on the full school year. So we have £10,000 to spend, and if we hit enter after we've entered the total budget in pounds at the top, so anything in red altered by you, of course, hit enter and it will calculate that amount in pounds. It will convert it to Vivos for you. 38 full school weeks in a full school year, 6 half terms, of course, and I'm going to base it on 100 staff and 1,000 students. I want to spend 20% of the budget on attendance. So a lot of schools get a bit confused or are not sure on how much they should spend on attendance. I'd recommend starting out between 15 and 20%, just depending on how big your budget is, and also you may have attendance as an issue or punctuality as an issue at school. So if it is quite an issue and you'd like to see that attendance rate increase to ensure that Ofsted is happy with your attendance rates, then I'd recommend spending a little bit more on attendance just to make sure you can afford to give students enough Vivos per week to encourage them to continue to attend and be punctual as much as possible. So that will break down then 20% of your 1 million Vivos, so 200,000 for the budget on attendance and 800,000 for the remaining budget. So that's where we've put it in the cells you saw in the previous page. In the budget page, the Vivos available to staff and the auto award budget, so that's where you would fill those areas in there based on this here. Going down, you'll see the staff role. So we've put in some example staff roles in terms of what you will set up to allocate staff to. So we've got an SLT role, a general teacher role, and a librarian role. You can set up support staff roles, teacher full-time role. A lot of schools will have roles in terms of being based on the amount of classes that staff have to teach per week. So SLT, so we're going to allocate 5 staff in our group to SLT, 94 staff to general teachers, and 1 staff to the librarian role. So this adds up to 100 here, of course, in the green cell, which must match the 100 staff users applicable in the green cell at the top. So green must always equal green in order to do the calculations effectively. And then here we have our Vivo weekly budget. So this is the amounts that we've added to give to the staff per week. So if we were to give 100 staff over 38 weeks these amounts to spend, we're going to be short. So this is always based on if staff all of staff were to reward each week, of course. So not everyone's going to be at school all the time or be able to reward their full amounts each week. So you're always going to have a little bit of a surplus anyway. But the system, this system will always calculate based on all staff having a weekly budget. So it's an idea to bring these down a little bit more, I think. So we're going to give SLT a much lower amount, because they shouldn't have too much, because they don't always have the time to reward, I've found in many schools that I look after. So it's important that staff who have the most interaction with students in the most classes per week have the most Vivos to spend. So we'll still need to bring this down a little bit more. So let's try for 220 there. And we'll bring the librarian down just a little bit more as well, so we might have to go a little bit lower. So that's now given me, you'll see, a positive figure here in the blue cell. So the blue always indicates the error difference. So if that was a negative number, it means you're overspending your budget, which you may want to do, because, as I said, not everyone's going to reward every week, so you're always going to have perhaps a small, even to a large surplus, because not all staff are going to reward, or they're not going to be there every week during the school year, etc. If you want to, you can even bring it down even further to give yourself a larger surplus. So you might want a couple of thousand Vivos to do mass rewards for students at the end of term. They always work really well in terms of mass rewarding for students that have had perfect attendance. You know, you've been giving them 5 Vivos a week. Perhaps you want to give an extra 50 Vivos to each student that's had perfect attendance in a term or a school year. So always give yourself a bit of a surplus if you're wanting to sort of reward for extra things around the school. Based on the 200,000 Vivos for attendance for 1,000 students over 38 weeks, you will have to be able to afford to give 32 Vivos per half term. So divide these amounts by the number of weeks in a half term or term to give the weekly amount that you can afford to give each student for achieving 100% attendance and or punctuality. Now, not every student is going to attend or be punctual each week, of course, so you will be able to afford, I think, to round that up maybe 1 or 2 Vivos. So if it's 3 a week, you could probably afford to definitely round it up to 5 a week. If attendance is an issue at your school, as I mentioned before, it's always important to focus on that as much as possible, and give as much as you can in order to encourage the increase of attendance and punctuality at your school. So that's the Budget Wizard spreadsheet. If you're not clear on the explanation here on the training video, please do contact your account manager, or you can email support@vivomiles.com, and we'll be more than happy to explain this for you if necessary over the phone. Step 2 of the training video will be to delete any unnecessary staff. This is a very quick and easy, simple area to complete. So back to setup again, and we go down to manage data. The manage data area will be used quite a bit in terms of administering Vivo from day to day. So there's lots of things in here in terms of where you add your categories, set up your staff roles and budgets, permission levels and things like that as well, which we'll go through a bit later. But now for step 2, to delete unnecessary staff, you just in the user section here on the left go to delete multiple staff. And it's very simple. So you'll have all of your staff that have been imported from your management information system upon the first integration that we completed. So you may get the odd cleaner or dinner lady or anything like that coming through, and if they're not required to use Vivo, all you need to do simply is tick the box next to the staff member's name accordingly and scroll to the bottom of the page and click delete. And also you'll need to do it page by page, so do first page of who you need to delete and click delete, and then move to the second page and do the same. This will tidy up the accounts and make sure that you only have staff that are necessary to be using Vivo on a weekly basis in the system. It is vital that this step is completed, otherwise the usage on your account will be inaccurate in terms of you'll have accounts in there that aren't being used, and we always want to provide you with accurate statistics in terms of staff usage to make sure that you're getting the most from the system going forward. Step 3 of the training video is to assign staff permission levels. So we have 3 different permission levels in the system. We have an admin permission level, which is full control of the system. A leader permission level. Leaders have general day-to-day staff login permission levels, but they also have the ability to view statistical information as well. So things like staff login statistics and category statistics, which you can see as an admin user also. And then we have a general staff permission level as well, which is what most of your staff will be set on. So to set these easily in one screen, you just go to setup and then once again down to manage data. And you'll see in the middle section under school data, you'll see assign staff permissions. So we click there, and you'll have a full list of all your staff accounts. And nice and easy, you just go through and select who you would like to be admin or staff or leader as you go through. So check the circles accordingly next to each person's name. And when you're finished going through all of those, you just click assign at the bottom of the page, and that will assign that permission level accordingly to that staff member. Step 4 of the training video will be to add your reward categories that you are wanting to reward your students for on a day-to-day basis. Quite easy to do, so once again into the setup menu here, and you have a shortcut to reward categories, and you can also access the reward category area via manage data. So we can click on reward categories in the setup area, and that will take us straight into the category area. So you can see we have our examples here in our Vivo Academy school set up, ready to go, so you can edit or delete those as you need to. So clicking on edit, of course, you'll be able to edit the category name, number of Vivos. The guidelines, when I set up an example category for you in a moment, I'll show you what the guidelines are all about. And you can also deny a category to a role if you wish to. The roles are set up in step 5, so you won't see the roles here in step 4 until you set these up in step 5 to become available. But when you're setting up the roles, you'll also be able to deny those roles to different categories as well, so you may wish to just wait until you set up staff roles and budgets in step 5 in order to be able to do that. So clicking back, we'll see up the top we have add new category. So just click on add new category, nice and easy, and I'm going to add excellent work as a category, and I'm going to give that 10 Vivos a week, I think, because it's worth a little bit more than the sort of normal everyday amount. So, and then guidelines, please make sure all work is completed to a high standard. So these guidelines will be visible by staff when they go to use the category. It will allow them to see what you as a Vivo administrator have advised them on having to look out for before they use this category to reward students for. So it's great to sort of give them an idea, make sure they're not using the category for something they shouldn't be, just that they need to ensure that certain things or certain criteria is met by the student before they can be rewarded for this category. You can deny the category to a role, so for example, excellent work, if you don't want the librarian and the auto attendance awards role doesn't need to use this, so you can deny that to the role. So anyone logging in on those particular roles with that or allocated to those roles will not be able to see this particular category. So we click add once completed, and the category has been added, so we can click back there, and you'll see excellent work has now been added, and you'll see the small guideline there below, so staff will see that when they're looking at the category. And once again, as I mentioned, you can click edit, or you can delete the category out as necessary. I'd recommend sort of a rough guideline of between 10 to 15 categories. If you have too many categories in the system, it may be a little bit overwhelming for staff. And you want to make sure that the categories you have in the system are entirely focusing on issues that you may have at school. So things that you need to improve, you should definitely have those sort of related categories in the Vivo system. When you signed up for your Vivo contract, we would have sent you a welcome pack. In the welcome packet contained a sample tariff guide, so please do take a look at that, and it will give you an idea of some of the types of categories that schools use and the amount of Vivos that they allocate to those categories. If you've misplaced that, please do let us know and we can send you an electronic copy of that, no problem. The next step will be step 5, setting up staff roles and budgets. Step 5 of the training video will be to set up your staff roles and budgets. So these are quite important in terms of separating all your staff out as you need to give them their different amounts of Vivos that they're restricted to reward per week. So we'll go through those, and I'll give you some little tips of advice as we go along as well. So back to setup once again, and down to manage data. And under the school data section here, you'll see add edit staff roles. towards the bottom there. So click on that. So you'll see some of the roles that we've set up at the moment. So you can edit those as you go along. I'll show you how to set up a new role when we go along. So many schools like to set up roles in terms of the amount of classes that staff have to look after per week. So a full-time staff member may have 30 classes a week, for example, and they may have 500 a week to spend, and then they sort of tier it down in terms of the amount of classes that other staff members may have if they're part-time or support staff and things like that. So I think it's definitely important to make sure that staff that have the most amount of classes per week have the most amount of Vivos out of everyone to reward. This being the fact that they engage and are interacting with the most amount of students per week. So it's important that they have plenty of Vivos to reward all of those students as necessary that they come into contact with. And those that may be busy doing other things such as SLT members and things like that should perhaps have a lesser amount in the system. We have two limit periods. So you have a per week period, which is what most schools use, and I would recommend using that. It's a lot easier in terms of monitoring and things like that going forward. You have a monthly option as well, where you can give monthly budget limit periods. So the week period is from Monday to midnight Sunday night, so you still have the weekend to use your total amounts of Vivos that you have allocated to your role. And also you have a per month, which is a full calendar month, so from the first to the very last day of the month it will include, until midnight on the last day of the month. So that will see your budget running out and those particular time periods there. So you can set those as you need to. So I'm going to add a new role now. So I'm going to add a full-time teacher role. So you just click on add new role at the top, and I'm just going to name the role as necessary, and we're going to give the full-time teacher 600 Vivos a week. So here you'll see the opposite of what we did when we added the categories. We can deny a category to a role, and we can also deny roles to categories as well. So if you don't want a full-time teacher, they shouldn't be giving out headmaster's prize, model citizen. Maybe these are given out by SLT. So these sort of things can be denied to them as necessary. So when they go to reward a student, they won't have the option to select those particular categories. So we click update, and the new role has been added. So once you've done that, you can click back. So it's a two-step process of adding the role and then assigning someone to the role. So now that we've added the role, you'll see full-time teacher as a role here, 600 per week. While there's nobody assigned to the role, you'll be able to delete the role out. So if you want to delete a role, you'll need to assign anyone in that role to a different role first, and then you'll have the option here appears to delete the person out of the role. Sorry, to delete the role completely. And then at the top we'll have assign roles. So this is the second step now, so we want to assign the role that we've created. So you just choose from the drop down menu in section 1 the role that you'd like to allocate, full-time teacher, and you just choose the staff that you'd like to allocate to that role. And once completed from checking the boxes of the staff there, you just click assign at the bottom of the page, and that will assign those particular staff members to that role. So when they log in to Vivo, on their home page they'll see their role name and the amount of Vivos that they have to spend per week. Step 6 of the training video is switching on the relevant modules for students. These modules are designed to engage, incentivize, motivate and keep the students informed whilst they're using the Vivo website. They're all included in your license fee that you pay to Vivo to use the software, so please do use as many of them as possible in order to keep students engaged with the software. So to start the setup of these, you go to Setup menu option and down to the Modules option second from the top, and this will take you in where you can set them up individually. So each module has a Manage button, and I'll go through each of them now and explain how to set them up. You'll see that all of them also have an About tab, so when you go into each module there will be an About tab on each one, explaining the benefits of using this particular module, how it works, and a quick guide on how to set it up. So into the Year Groups tab now, we need to switch this on so the module appears on the student's home page. So we click Manage Permissions, and we tick the year groups that we'd like to see this particular module on their home page. We click update once completed and then click back. The users tab in this particular module just shows you the total number of students that have opted in to be sent to the free monthly SMS. And then in the configuration tab is where we will set this particular module up. So the SMS is sent free of charge once per month, no cost to the student or the school, so it's all inclusive, and it's sent on the 27th of every month at 6 p.m. So we make sure that the SMS is sent outside of school hours at all times, so as to avoid distraction to the students, and we know that most schools ban mobile phones in school anyway, so we don't want this to be sent during school hours. You need to tick enable this module, and then here you'll have some placeholders and codes that you can use in your message. So we have a standard message here ready to go. Welcome to Vivo Academy's monthly Vivo Miles update. Congratulations, your account balance is, and the $D or balance will give them their actual balance. So you can copy these codes into the message and it will be replaced by the actual applicable details to that student. You can change this message if you want. You don't have to keep our standard one, but it's easy enough to keep this general standard one here. You can click preview, and then once you're happy you can click update at the bottom of the page, and that will set that one up ready to go. So going back to the modules again, down to Gold Club. The Gold Club is a great way to incentivize, motivate the students in a separate club, and you can set the amount of Vivos that they need to achieve in order to get into the Gold Club. So it's for the high achievers at school. It's to be seen as something to earn over a period of maybe 2 or 3 school years, so you should set the bar quite high for this. So once again, a little bit in the about section about how it works, some ideas and things like that as well. The year groups tab, once again, click manage permissions and tick the year groups that you'd like to have access to that particular module. Once you've selected those, click update. Click back then to go to the users area. So the users area for this particular module will show you how many Gold Club members you've got by year group, total number of students, and you can view current and potential members in a spreadsheet as well. And then in the configuration section you'll have some ideas that we've placed into the system for perks. So you can set, for example, you see we've set our Vivo Academy one at 2,000 Vivos. You can name it whatever you like here, so you can call it the School Names High Flyers Club or Gold Club, the number of Vivos that students need to earn to get into the Gold Club, and then the perks here. So anyone who earns 2,000 points will become a member of our exclusive Gold Club and receive a gold card. They will be eligible for privileges such as skipping the lunch queue, priority on a first come first served school events basis, and also all they need to do is show their gold card to gain access to their privileges. So once a student reaches the amount that you've set in the Gold Club, from the home page you will see under the area items for your attention the Gold Club members that need approving. So you go into that list, tick the ones you'd like to approve, and once they're approved we'll automatically send them a gold Vivo card, which usually takes about a week or so to arrive in school. Our new gold cards have a slit at the top, and they will now come with a black lanyard with gold Vivo writing on them, so great for the students to clip them to their bag or have them around their neck so they can display them easy when they're enjoying their privileges around the school. We'll go to the next one now. League tables. So very easy, this just displays league tables on the students' home pages. They can be anonymous or they can display students' names, whichever you prefer. So going along, once again, the about section, the year groups tab, so manage those permissions once again to switch those league tables on to the home page of the students. League details, so you have a league, view league feeds there, and view league tables. So the league feeds area, you can use these to get the data onto plasma screens, or you can embed this into your VLE and things like that, or to your school website. You can change the number at the end here, that will show the top 10, but you can change that to 20 or 30 or whatever you want to see in terms of the numbers of students. And then in the settings area you can choose when the league tables start from, or do they start from this school year or the very start of Vivo. You can choose averages or totals, the particular league tables you'd like to display, so whether it be house, year group, tutor group, gender, etc. Displaying names, so the students will see their name in the league table and other students around them. If you wish them to remain anonymous, and this is a default setting, so it will always be defaulted to not display names, so you will need to choose it to display names if you wish to. You can tick or untick this area here and click update, and that will show accordingly. If it's anonymous, the students who are looking at the league table will see their own name in the league table when they're logged into their own profile, but everyone else around them will be just displayed as user 1, user 2, etc. The next module is the word of the day. The Vivo shop. So the Vivo shop is where you can manage the shop in terms of adding your own items, viewing our items in the Vivo shop, giving updates to students so you can type in text so they know where to go to collect their items and things like that. So if you're a school that uses the non-monetary version of Vivo, then you won't need to worry about setting up this area, but you can add your own items to the school shop as well, of course. So click on manage once again, and once again the about section will cover quite a bit there in terms of adding your own items to the shop and managing our Vivo items and things like that there as well. The years tab, once again managing permissions, and then just clicking on that. Now this is a compulsory module for Vivo here now, so but you'll be able to manage your permissions once again. Configuration, so the configuration area, you'll be able to type an introduction. So the introduction, welcome them to the Vivo shop. Please see Mr. Smith at the school office on a Friday afternoon at 3 PM to collect your Vivo items, as an example there. So just make sure you give them plenty of information as to how the shops run at your school and where they need to collect their items from. The shop manager can be any of the admin users there, so you can choose shop manager's name there and click update, so they'll be able to see who's in charge of the shop. You have a view order history area that will show all of the orders that have ever been made, and you can see whether they're supplied by Argos or the school or Vivo. So going back then, so back to the modules again and down to the shop, click manage, and then you'll have your other options here, so you can view current orders, list products below a certain quantity amount, so you can type a quantity in there. If you click on browse selected products, you can see all of our particular products here as well. You can remove these from the catalogue if you do not wish the students to have access to them. Going back then to the other menu options, so you have browse all available products as well. So this is the main area where you can add your own items to the Vivo shop. So in the products you supply tab, you'll see those there, and also once again you have access to our Vivo products as well. So in our Vivo products you can click on a particular item name, and that will take you into 4 tabs for that particular item. So an overview of that item, a catalogue area, so you can remove it from the catalogue, an image of the item, and the most recent 5 orders for that particular item as well. And then back to the products you supply tab. So you'll see there in the products you supply, we've added a few vouchers and things like that, stationery items, iPhone cases and things like that. So the school shop is great for adding anything you like, from stationery items through to school merchandise, prom discount vouchers, vouchers off getting money off your prom photos. Lots of things you can put in there. You might source some vouchers from local businesses that want to sponsor you with some perhaps discount vouchers or free items. So a great way to sort of engage and motivate the students even more, especially the older students, where they could perhaps enjoy some vouchers and items that can be enjoyed in the local community. So to add your own item, just simply click on add a new product, and all you need to do is fill out the form, so it's nice and easy. So £5 prom discount voucher, for example, a description of that particular item, the detailed information if you wish to put a little bit more detailed information. Your reference doesn't really need to be filled in, but if you want to put a reference number or code or anything like that for that particular item, you're welcome to do so. You must upload an image, so just click on browse there and choose an image there. Keep it to sort of 300 by 300 pixels if you can, just to avoid distortion, but the item will not go into the Vivo shop without an image, so you can take a photo of the item or perhaps use Google Images for finding a related item to that particular school shop item. Number in stock, so if you only have 10 vouchers, you can put 10 in there, of course, just so students know how many are available as they're purchasing them. And the restriction list, so here you will select the year groups and or houses you wish not to have access to this item. So if it's a year 11 prom voucher, you need to tick all the other year groups except year 11, and the houses you need to leave, just tick the year groups applicable, and that way only leaving year 11 unticked will make sure that only year 11 can access that particular item. Once you click upload, you can then click back and you'll see the item appear here. So say for example we've just added the new £5 off the prom voucher. You'll see it appear in the list here after you've filled out the form and added the image, and you can then go in and just check everything's okay here, have a look at the image, and in the catalogue tab you can confirm to add the item to the catalogue, and you'll be able to then add the price and confirm to add it, and it'll be ready to go then for the students to see within the Vivo shop. Now also the next module down will be extra earners. So extra earners is where students can view requests from staff in order to attend extracurricular activities or after school clubs and classes. So a great way to encourage students to show initiative to attend these and get those grades up higher. It definitely ties in with, you could use it also to tie in with your SMSC objectives, or you could also use it to encourage peer mentoring, so getting students to attend mentoring classes and things like that with older students perhaps to learn different things. So the About tab once again gives you some ideas there and sort of all the information you need about this particular module. The Year Groups tab, once again, just click on that and manage the permissions and tick that for all the year groups applicable to have access to that particular module. The current offers area, so you'll go into the current offers area, you'll see some offers there we've got, so litter duty, revision classes, helping set up chairs for assembly, help pump up the school footballs, reading clubs, choir, etc, etc. So all of those are there. You can edit or delete those as necessary, based on the staff member who's added them. So you need to log in, the staff member when they're logged in will be able to edit or delete those as they need to. If you're a new staff member who wants to add a new request, you can simply click on add new offer and just title the offer, give it a description and detailed instructions there, the number of Vivos you'd like to reward the students with, and an expiry date as well there. As you want to expire it, so you can run the offer for as long as you like and target particular audiences. So if you want the whole school to be involved, tick all the year groups there. If it's just targeted at year 7, just select year 7 there, of course, and that way only they will see this particular item in their extra earners area. Click add once you've completed that, and that will appear on the students pages for them to attend according to your instructions, and then you can reward them at your leisure. The next module, so we'll go back into the modules area once again, and we'll go down to fundraising now. So a great way to raise money for charity. Vivo's raised more than £50,000 over the last few years for various different charities that schools have donated to, so a wonderful effort. So we do encourage you to get students to show their generosity with their Vivos and donate them to a worthy cause. So in the charity event, just clicking on fundraising there and into manage, you'll have the About tab once again with all the details you need there and how to set it up. Year groups again, just manage permissions, same as the other modules we've seen, and tick the year groups there and click update. And then in the events tab, you'll see a list of some current events that we've added. So we've added some templates such as Cancer Research UK, which is one of our favourite charities to support. So you can see that there. And that's ready to go, so all you need to do is activate that event as you wish to, and that will show you how to do that in the About section as well. But just activate maybe one to start off with and just see how you go. The more you have there, of course, the better it's going to be in terms of supporting as many charities as you can. Some schools like to add their favourite sort of local or international charities or national charities there, so something that might be close to your heart and your local community, you can always add. Some schools will even also add events to raise money for perhaps a trip to their linked school in another country, or for a major school trip and things like that. So Vivos can be donated to that as well if you wish to. So in the Add Event tab, it's quite easy to add your own events. You just name the event, give it a brief introduction, a particular coordinator, so you can pick any of your staff there from your full staff list. Target particular audiences again by house or year group. So a lot of schools have house charities, so you can set those up individually if you like. Once you click Add, that will then add the basic details to the events list. So you'll go into the event that you've added, and you can click on Edit this event, and that's where you can add all the text as necessary and the coordinator, things like that. You can set a fundraising target, where the user can find more details, etc. And then also you'll be able to edit the images. So going to Edit Images, you can add the current main image, so you can use images from the charity's website, and just a small icon image as well, which will appear on the student's page. And that will go there on their page then. And then once completed, you will need to click on Activate Event. So we've already activated this one, so you can activate that, and you'll leave it running until such time as you don't wish to have students donate to that anymore and you want to change charities. Just come in and click Suspend Event. And as I mentioned in the finance budget section, once per term you'll be reimbursed for Vivos donated to this particular charity. And that will come along with any school shop items that are purchased as well if you're using the school shop. So also in the modules going down, we have the certificates and credits. I'll touch on those last. The one we've got here is Map Word of the Day as well, which is a great way to also, or great option to use for your SMSC objectives as well. So the About section as well, a bit of information there on how to activate the module as well. So in the Year Groups tab, once again, manage your permissions and select the year groups that you want to have access to that particular module, and click Update. And then going back, in the configuration area, you'll need to upload words or meanings into the database. So it's a great way to populate a database of words, meanings, thoughts, themes of the week, jokes, etc. So you can name here what you want to call it. So you could call it Vivo Academy's theme of the week, or thought of the week, or word of the day, and choose when you'd like to rotate it. And then browse words at the top. So you'll see our list here we've already populated. So you can click on Add Words, and you can add words via CSV file, so a spreadsheet with the word in one column, meaning in a second column, for example, and upload that, or you can add them individually here. And once you've uploaded them, they'll appear in the list here, and all you need to do is check the circle in the record you'd like to appear immediately on the student's page and click Update, and that will then start rotating those on a daily or weekly or fortnightly basis, depending on what you select. This is great to run competitions. So for example, you could say in school assembly, we've got an inspirational saying this week from Albert Einstein, from someone anonymous in the Vivo system. So don't tell them who it is, tell them in assembly, and then they can log into Vivo and see who it is, and you could say the first 20 students who tell me something interesting about Albert Einstein get 20 Vivos. So you're doing three things there. You're getting them to log into Vivo, so you're increasing your usage of the system. They're learning because they have to do a bit of research about Albert Einstein, and they're getting rewarded at the same time. So a great way to use this module in terms of promotion to the students at the school. Two important modules which are also included in your license fee to use, but we do have the templates for these available for purchase as well. So the certificates, so you can click on Manage on those. We have available for purchase bronze, silver and gold and generic Vivo certificates priced at £15 plus VAT per pack, and there's about 90 certificates in each pack. So lots of information there. Once again, in the About section. The Year Groups tab, once again, you just manage those permissions there. And in the Configure tab, this is where you'll be able to get all the data you need to print the information onto your blank certificate. So you create the data onto the into the website into a PDF file, and you'll print that PDF file then onto the blank certificates, which you can place into your printer. So we have the start date as 1st of February, for example, 250 for bronze, 500 for silver, 1,000 for gold. So you can set those thresholds, so anyone who's earned these amounts from this particular date will qualify for a certificate. So once I'm going to lower this amount down a little bit more, just to make sure that we get some students come up there when I show you. So in the configure tab, so we've done that. You can go into generate new certificates then. And we have a few students coming up actually, which is great. So you can see here that bronze has 69 students that have earned more than 100 Vivos since the date we set as the 1st of February. So you can click on the actual certificate and you can go in and then see who you'd like to filter these by. So you can print them for everyone, all of those 69 students, or out of those 69 students I only want to print it for those students who are in a particular year group, tutor group or house. So I'm going to do this one for everyone, so click next and it will list all the students there. So all of them will be ticked. You can deselect them or select them again if you like. When you click generate, the system will ask you to make sure you've got the printer set up ready to go with the blank templates in there. So when you purchase the blank templates from us, you can add those into the printer, and then when you click generate, just print the PDF file that's produced onto that particular those particular templates, and you'll be ready to go then. You can also reprint old certificates as well. So going back a couple of steps there. So you can go to view printed certificates also, and you can put in the date range there and just click on list students, and it will show you in each individual tab what's been printed by bronze, silver, gold or generic, so it will list them there, and if you want to reprint them you'll be able to check a box next to their name and click print there to print those out. And the final module to show you is the credit slips. So the credit slips are a great way to for staff really to use if they're patrolling the playground at break times or taking students on a school trip, or for PE staff that don't have quick access to it, perhaps to use our app on the mobile phone, or to have access to a computer, or to be able to write down rewards that they want to give students. So you can use the credit slips with ease here. So clicking on manage here, you'll be able to do everything all in the one screen now here. So you'll be able to have your 3 tabs there. So the about section once again will explain all of the details about the credit slips, what the benefits of using them, who you can use them for, and how to activate them. Then in the year groups tab, you'll be able to manage the permissions once again. So this will switch on the link on the student's homepage where they will need to enter their code to redeem their voucher on the website. So it's important that this is switched on so that if you're giving the coupons out, the students can redeem them on the website homepage in the student view. Into manage credits, so these are what our new credit coupons look like. So you've got create new credits at the top, so you can click on create new credits. You can print for a single user, or you can print for multiple roles. So if you want to print a book of coupons for every single full-time teacher, for example, you can do so. I'll do a lot for a single user at the moment, so we'll print some for Peter, and we want to do them for a particular category in the system. So you can choose for excellent work, which is defaulted to 10 Vivos. There's 12 coupons per page, so this will be 120 Vivos worth of coupons. It's a PDF file there. You can do in Excel if you want, but I'd recommend using the PDF file. Display the staff member's name or not, you can choose that there. And when you click create, the credit book's being created, so we'll open that now. Now once this is open, you'll see all the voucher details here. All of the vouchers, oops, sorry, just get this open. So all of the vouchers are there ready to go, and you'll have them there with all their codes. So we've shortened the codes now, much shorter now. They used to be quite long, so we've changed those so they're nice and quick and easy to enter. And they're all ready to go. So you'll have your blank credit coupon templates that you can purchase from us also. So they come in packs of about 120 sheets, I think, for £15 plus VAT. There's 12 coupons per sheet. and that's to cover the cost of the printing and posting to you. You can pop those then into the printer and print this particular PDF file onto those, and they're pre-perforated so you can break them apart easily and give them to Mr. Tapara to hand out. And that's pretty much it for all the modules. As I mentioned, your account manager will be able to help you more with these. Each of them has an about section, so please do have a read of that. We also have on our Insights blog area great modules guides as well, so you can have a look at those and get some ideas for any of those. Step 7 of the training video is configuring your account. The configuration settings are system-wide settings designed for you to optimize the account to your liking. So once again, we go into the setup menu and we go down to configuration, and I'll go through each of these now, explaining what they do and how they work, and show you how to set them quite easily. So looking at the first one, we have penalty transactions. So do you want to allow staff members to penalise or fine students for bad behaviour or work? This will allow the removal of Vivos from users' accounts. So most schools have this set to no. They see Vivo as a positive reward system. We do have the option, obviously, to penalise students as you wish to. So if you want to be able to do that, you can check yes and click update. And then all you would need to do is in the categories section, shown a couple of steps before in the training video, you would need to add some negative based categories so that when staff are going to reward or penalise a student, they can choose the appropriate category as necessary. Going down the games within the student's view, these are educational games. So I would recommend allowing students to play them. However, if you do not wish them to do not wish the students to have access to them, you can switch those off if you need to. So just check no and click update there as necessary. Allow user nominations. This will allow students to nominate each other for a reward. So nominations are then approved or rejected by an admin member of staff from the home page. So if you have this as yes, the student can nominate their friend, for example, who helped them with their homework, which a lot of them like to do. So they can nominate them for that. It will appear on your home page, and you can choose to accept or reject that nomination that the student has made. If you accept the nomination, you will then need to reward the nominated student accordingly for what they've helped with. Display school rewards tariff. I'd always recommend leaving this as yes. This will display all the reward categories you've added to the system, so students can see that excellent behaviour is 10 Vivos, excellent homework is 5, etc. So it's important, I think, for them and motivating for them to be able to see the amounts that they can be rewarded for, and the categories that they can be rewarded for also, so they know what they need to do around the school to be rewarded. Student rewards. Do you want to allow staff to overwrite the default reward value? So this is where staff, when they're rewarding, they have a category. They're rewarding for a category, for example, that's worth 5 Vivos, but they feel it's worth a little bit more or a little bit less. If you allow them to overwrite the default reward value, they will be able to type in an amount when they're rewarding, rather than it being set to the default amount that you've set as an admin person in the beginning. Users ordering, just choose the way of lists of names are ordered in the system. So when you're looking at lists of students and staff, do you want it to be ordered by name at first and then surname second, or surname first and first name second? So choose your preference there and click update. Student email addresses, do you want to set email as a compulsory field on the first login page? Students will be required to enter their email address. This is great for communication purposes, and also it will save you a lot of time in terms of resetting passwords for students, as they do quite often forget them, unfortunately. So if they have their email address in the system, they can use the forgot your password link on the main Vivo login page. Reward security. Do you want staff members to have to verify rewards over a value of £1 or 100 Vivos? This will increase the security of an account should it become compromised. So if you have this to yes, any rewards that are made over a value of £1 or 100 Vivos, staff will have to enter in random characters of their password, perhaps the first, third and fifth character of their password, for example. And the last one, an important one in terms of usage. Vivo will only work well if you have staff using the system regularly. students are not going to be motivated and engaged if they're not being rewarded deservingly. So it's important to remind staff, I think, on a weekly basis to log in and use their allowance that you've given them. You've purchased and invested in Vivo, so we want to make sure you get the most out of it. So there's lots of little tools in terms of reminding staff and students on logging in and using the system. So budget email reminder, you can select yes to this if you wish, and staff will receive an email once a week if they've used less than 25% of their weekly allocation you've given them. So just give them a little reminder on logging in and rewarding their Vivos. We'll move on now to step 8, which is writing welcome messages. Step 8 of the training video is to write some welcome messages for staff and students. So very easy step to do. You go into the communication section at the top here and you'll have screen messages. So in our example School Vivo Academy here, we have for students, don't forget it's double points week, so make sure you earn as many Vivos as possible. And for staff, we are setting Year 11 revision sessions at 5 Vivos each, as well as an extra 5 for a full week of attendance. Not everyone is reaching their weekly budget, so please try your best to do so. So it's important to put little bits of information for staff and students in terms of welcoming them to the system, having double points weeks, letting them know about changes or items you've added to the school shop, for example. So please do use these as much as you can. Communication is important with the system to make sure that everyone knows the requirements and how things work, and perhaps letting students know where to collect their Vivo items from as they purchase them and so on. So anything you type in here, just click update once completed, and it will appear as a message from admin box on the main home page of staff and or students when they log into the system. Step number 9 is the print staff and student welcome letters step. This is the last step of the initial setup, and then we've added a sort of extra step number 10 which will show you how to set up the auto attendance. So that will be the next step after this area here. So to print off your staff and student welcome letters, you go into the setup section and then down to manage data once again. Now, when we pull in accounts from your management information system, whether it be SIMS or CMIS or ISAMS or anything like that, it relies on the start date of the profile of the student and staff member to have occurred before it comes into the system. So if the start date of the students and staff is not until the 2nd of September, for example, then until that date occurs, the next overnight refresh of data after that initial start date in their profile in your MIS is when their account will be pulled into Vivo. So once all that's updated technical wise with the connection of Vivo on your MIS, then you'll be able to print these with no problem. So in the manage data section you'll see staff welcome letters and print student logins. So we'll cover the staff ones first. So going to staff welcome letters, and you'll see all of these here, and all you need to do simply is you can check the checkbox at the top to select all. And this will obviously show you only the staff that are in the system after you completed step 2 to delete any unnecessary staff. So you can check the box at the top, or you can individually check staff as you need to, and then just click the print button here on the right, and that will produce the staff letters into a PDF file that you'll be able to print out. It'll have a bit of welcome information for the staff member and their login details as necessary. So nice and easy. You print those out, hand them out in an assembly or a Vivo training session you may have with the staff before you launch to the school. Now, as new staff members come into the system, they will appear on your home page. So if you click on home and scroll to the bottom, you'll have the following requires your attention, and you'll see here you have students, and you'll also have any new staff members appearing in there also. So it'll say new students or new staff, and you just click on view all, and you can print those accordingly. So this will take us into the student section as well, also from the home page, or you can go to setup, manage data, and then to the print student logins area. And then quite easily you can select new students. So clicking on that will select all of you. So if you're a new school starting with Vivo and you want to print all of your letters, you can just click select new students, have all your year groups selected, and just click print. Now with the student login slips, we've found in the past that a full A4 page letter is not interesting to the students. They don't want to hear all about logging in and everything. All they want is their login details, as they're excited to get into Vivo and have a look. So when you print these, it'll be 12 login slips per A4 sheet of paper. They will be in tutor group order for you, and then within each tutor group blocked off section, it will be in alphabetical order. So you can hand these out easily to your form tutors and staff to give out to students, either in an assembly or a Vivo training session as well for the students. So nice and easy, and it saves on paper as well, of course, that you're printing sort of 12 per page rather than one individual page per student. A very quick feature to show you also is a new thing we've added to the Vivo Miles system in order for you to be able to upload your school logo to Vivo. So you can see here in the top corner next to Vivo Academy, we have our Vivo Academy logo. So you can go to Setup and click on School Profile, and then you can click on Upload File. So just save your file to your desktop on your computer. You'll need to make sure that when you name the file that there is no spaces in the wording, so please keep the wording to just one single word, the school name, without any spaces. Save it to your desktop and then click Upload File, and you can find the image like so, and then it'll upload it for you, and you click Save, and that will then upload your school logo next to your school name here in the top left hand corner. Step 10 is our extra added step we've placed into the training video in terms of explaining how to set up the auto attendance for you. This will only apply to schools that are connected to Vivo via their management information system, such as SIMS, ePortal, CMIS Facility and iSAMS, and various other ones which we may connect with in the future. In order to do this, you need to go to the setup area, and you have an auto attendance quick link here. Alternatively, you can still access this via the manage data area also. So going down, Vivo synchronizes attendance data from your school's MIS so that you can reward Vivos to students who have achieved certain attendance levels. Currently we reward on the following codes from the school's MIS. So present is always // L, P, B, J, V and W. So any students that are marked these codes for morning and afternoon registration 5 days a week will be marked as 100% attending. And L for late, of course, so if students are marked as L for late, they won't receive their punctuality reward, but they still will get their attendance reward. So they're two separate things, the attendance and punctuality. There's a little guide here you can click on, download our PDF guide for setting this up too if you get stuck, but automatic rewarding allows you to set the reward policy for weekly attendance, and Vivo will automatically credit the user's account. Usually each Friday evening, sometimes over the weekend, usually sometimes it happens on a Saturday or Sunday morning as well. So all you need to do is to set the current auto status to active. Have the rewards issued by, you can have them issued by an admin staff member, and you can also have the school name which you'll have in there as well. I think it's nice for the students to be rewarded for attendance and punctuality via the school. So you'll have that already set up in there when you drop down the menu. Issuer's budget per week, so this can be changed in the add edit staff roles area where you have your budgets and roles for staff. The auto attendance awards role, you can just click edit on that and change this to a larger amount if you need to, depending on how many students you have. So you tick the year groups you'd like to reward, 7 to 12 for example, and we want to give 2 a week as you see here for attendance and 2 a week for punctuality. The system will then work out based on how many students you have in year 7 to 12 multiplied by the 4 is 3,328 Vivos per week. So if every single student in year 7 to year 12 achieved 100% attendance and 100% punctuality every week, you'd be spending £33.28, so 3,328 Vivos. Now, of course, not everyone's going to attend and be punctual every week, but once again, the system needs to base this on if everyone was to achieve each week, then how much would we be spending? And that way that you can always ensure that this amount is less than the role amount or the budget that the role has that's issuing the attendance. If this is more than the role amount has to spend for the budget per week, this amount here will appear in red, and then you'll need to go into the setup section into manage data and edit staff roles again, and go to the auto attendance awards role, and you can edit that or the role of the person that's issuing these. Once completed, you can click save, and the system will then do all the work for you. So looking at a calendar, for example, if we were to start this for the new school year from Monday the 2nd of September, I'd recommend setting this up, as I've just shown you, just a couple of days before. If you set it up, a few weeks before or anything like that, it may start rewarding weeks that you don't want it to. So just a few days before you'd like it to start, set it up ready to go, and we'll collect the data on a nightly basis from Monday to Friday, and the following week on the 14th to 15th is when the auto attendance will go on for the week of the 2nd to the 6th. So the week of the 9th to the 13th will be rewarded to students on the weekend of the 21st, 22nd. So the auto attendance is always a weekly reward, but it will be rewarded to the students always a week in lieu. If you have any questions on this, please do contact your designated account manager or email support@vivomiles.com, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Remembering that this is important to set up, it takes pressure away from you having to manually reward for attendance. The computer systems do all the work based on the criteria for you, so it's a great way to mass reward students quickly and easily to get those attendance and punctuality levels up a lot higher for you, in order to keep Ofsted happy, of course, which is what you want. And also remembering that any short weeks it will also reward. So as long as the students are marked as attending for the Tuesday to Friday, for example, if the Monday is a bank holiday, then the auto attendance will still go through for you. It does rely on us having a solid, stable connection to your MIS system though, so if we're not downloading data, then unfortunately the auto attendance won't run, and unfortunately it can't be backdated, but you can easily update it with a manual upload of a CSV file, which will be shown to you by your account manager in your initial online training session over the phone. Well, that concludes your online video training session for Vivo Miles. Please do not hesitate to contact your account manager if you have any questions or need any further help. You can also visit our Insights blog, as mentioned before, by clicking the light bulb link on the right here. Or you can email support@vivomiles.com, and we'll be more than happy to help you. I wish you the very best of luck with launching Vivo to your school, and we look forward to working closely with you going forward using Vivo.